really excited. I've been really excited about this night for a long time, and like so many of you came out, so you guys are awesome. Now, before I give you guys a look at why I made the movie and the message that I had behind the movie, I want to give a special thanks to some people. First of all, just give a round of applause to everyone who helped set this up tonight. If you were one of those people, thanks so much. You are awesome. And I want to thank six people actually specifically, because these 6 people gave a lot of time and put in a lot into making this movie. We'd meet once a week. 5 of us would meet once a week on Saturdays for a period of about maybe a month and a half to 2 months. And they were there every single Saturday to help me out, sometimes the Friday night before that Saturday, and then again on that Saturday. So thank you to these 5 people. First we got Matt Mears, who's actually not here tonight. He had to go to a wedding, unfortunately. Next we got Brittany Selleck, my sister. She's back there. Give her a round of applause. Next, Matt Selleck. He's working the PowerPoint right now. He's not as much of a jerk as he was in the movie. He's actually kind of cool. We got Elizabeth Hosser, who is also not here because of a wedding. She's in a different wedding. But she was the cinematographer, and then she played the lawyer at the end. And Nate Lee, who's over here, I think. There he is. Nate Lee was the... Nate Lee was the boom mic guy. He got the sound for us. And you don't know this yet, but I went back and I listened to the audio that came off the camcorder, and it sounded like really, really bad. So I'm really glad you were there to get the audio. So thanks so much to all of you for all your help. And then also Greg Lawrence, he's back there. Give him a round of applause. He's working the camera right now. Monday we met for lunch, and I told him what I was planning, what was going on over here, and he was like, all right, I'm taking over all this. You worry about what you need to worry about. So major thanks to Greg. He saved me a lot of stress and worry this week. So it's at the Movies with Meaning. Whenever I sit down to write a movie, the first thing that I think about is what is the message that I want to deliver with this movie. You know, what do I want to tell the audience, with this movie? And the reason that I do that is because pretty much anybody can get a really hot guy, a really hot girl, some 10-story tall fighting robots, throw in an explosion or two, some racist stereotypes, and call the result a movie. But I want my movies to be so much more than that. And don't get me wrong, I watched Transformers 2. I actually had a fun time in Transformers 2. And there is a place for movies like Transformers 2, because I think innately as human beings, we like really, really big things. We like things that blow up. And you put the two of them together and put them on a big screen and you get cinematic gold. So so there's a place for movies like that. But when I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to write this movie, I want to deliver a message with the movie. I want there to be a purpose behind the movie. And when I sat down to write Unconditional, before I wrote any of the plot, before I even came up with characters, I decided I wanted to write it about a crazy little thing called love. Yes. Let's wait for that to get up there. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys some pictures of what Hollywood... The reason that I wanted to write it about love is because Hollywood likes to push their definition of love, and we are inundated with the society's definition of love when we go out into our schools or our workplaces every day. And so here's just some pictures of what Hollywood and everything tells us love looks like. That's the first one. They're holding hands, right? That's cute and wonderful. They're hugging, and she's looking like into the camera. She's got that little smile on her face. She's totally in love right now. They are having a moment. They are gazing longingly into each other's eyes. Those two are in love. Here's the kicker. Boom. They're kissing. That is wonderful. That is a beautiful picture of love, right? Wrong. Hollywood tells... Now, okay, before I go into that, I gotta give Hollywood some partial credit, right? I love partial credit. I made it through 4 years of college because of partial credit. Hollywood... These things here, these actions, they are results of being in love with someone, loving someone. When you love someone, when you are in love with someone, you're going to want to be near them. You're going to want to hold their hand. You're going to want to hug them, gaze longingly into each other's eyes, right? You're going to want to kiss them because that's just one way we express our love. But to say that these actions in and of themselves are love is wrong, and that's what Hollywood tells us. You know, when you see two people on the screen, they kiss each other like, oh, okay, they're in love now. Yay, they're in love. And that's wrong. And I'm going to prove that to you right now, because some of you are probably like, well, I don't know about that. So if I walked up to anyone in here right now and I planted one of those on them and asked them to describe it in 2 words or less, I guarantee you they would not say in love. They'd probably say something like restraining order, lawsuit. It's that these things in and of themselves are not love. And unfortunately, I see us buying it a lot, even in the church, you know. I got Christian friends, you know, and like, none of you guys are here tonight, by the way. They post as their, you know, Facebook status, you know, I'm with the love of my life. And I'm like, no, you're not. You've been dating for 3 days. That's not the love of your life. And, you know, what always happens with those people is a week later, you know, they get into an argument and the guy's like, whoa, she screamed at me? No, it's over, you know, and that is not love, obviously. When we try and think of what real love is, when we try and think of what true love is unconditional. You see how I did that? You guys thought I just picked a fancy smashy word for the title and just kind of threw it on there. No. Unconditional love. Do I keep cutting out, or is that just me? I don't know. True love is unconditional. True love means I love you, period. Not I love you, comma, as long as you're really good looking, or I love you, comma, as long as I feel warm and fuzzy when I'm near you. True love is I love you, period. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what comes between us. It means I love you. That's it. And unfortunately, we are not capable as human beings of unconditional love. We cannot love anybody, strike that. We can love one person unconditionally. There's only one person that we can love unconditionally, and that person is me. Yes, me. Not Chris Selleck me, obviously, as much as I would love that. That is not the case. It's you, me, right? You love you, I love me, right? That's how it works. That's the only person we can unconditionally love. And now you're sitting here like, okay, all right, unconditional love, got to unconditionally love, but now you're telling me I can't unconditionally love. What is going on right now? What do I do? Well, that's where the message of the story comes in. See, 1 John 3:16, part A, not John 3:16, the one that everybody loves so much, but 1 John 3:16, part A says, by this we know love, because Jesus Christ laid down his life for us. The only reason we can even have kind of a clear picture of what real love is or what true love is because of what Jesus did for us on the cross. And you can see the picture there. You're like, okay, well, what exactly did Jesus do for me? Okay, you're telling me he loves me. What did he do? John 3:16, the one that everybody loves so much, says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Now, you're probably, okay, all right, okay, cool. Jesus died for me. I'm a pretty good person, though, right? So I kind of deserved it, right? Wrong. First of all, Jesus didn't just come to die for the good people. He didn't just come to die for the people who, quote unquote, deserved it. He came to die for everybody. He came to die for even the Hitlers, the Saddam Husseins, the people who we as a society look at as the worst people imaginable. He came to die for everyone. And second, before you get all haughty and proud, pride gets in the way. You're like, well, I don't know. I think I kind of deserve that. You don't. And here's an explanation why. Romans 5:8 says, God demonstrated his love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. While we were still enemies of God, while we still hated God, while we were still spitting in his face and stabbing in the back, he sent his Son to die for us. And that is love. And this is where the movie comes in. When I first wrote the movie, I thought, okay, I want to show people what true love is. I want to give people a movie which shows them a true, real definition of love. And So I sat down and wrote the movie, and then I'm holding auditions. And I didn't realize this until one of the ladies pointed it out to me. She was like, okay, all right, I see what's going on here. It's an analogy. Ethan's like the Christ figure, and then Tracy is like us. And then Ethan died, Jesus died for us. And, I kind of looked at her and I was like, no, what are you talking about? And then I thought about it and I was like, wait, she's right. That wasn't my intention at all. Why'd that happen? And so I was thinking about that, and then that's when 1 John 3:16 hit me. And I was like, oh, the only reason we know love is because of Jesus. So whenever we see a true depiction of love, whenever we see true love, we immediately think of Jesus. We can't help it because that's the only reason we know what real love is. And another analogy we can take a look at here is Tracy was Ethan's enemy. Tracy was trying to kill him, trying to take all his money from him, and basically so she could live, without her cancer, and then she could be really, really rich. And Ethan finds out about this, right? But he finds out about it after he had fallen in love with her, after he had loved her. And so at that point, once you get to that point, I love you, it doesn't matter what that person does, you love them. And so Ethan was like, you know what? I know you're doing all this to me, but I love you, and so I can't help but, give you this gift anyway, and save you in this car wreck that you got into. And then again, much the same way, we can use an analogy there. Ethan would be like Jesus. We were like the enemies of Jesus. We weren't necessarily trying to steal immortality or money from him, but we were his enemies, and he still died for us. And so I'm done with that.